So I've been using Blazor for the past 5 years. And in this video, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why Blazor is not my framework of choice for 2025. This is going to be pretty quick, so buckle in. Blazor's developer experience is not phenomenal. It's still better than it was in 2020, but it's nowhere on par with the likes of Next, Nuxt, SvelteKit, and other modern JavaScript frameworks. To start, hot reload is better, but edit and continue is still a thing. And I don't think it can really fully go away. All those seconds spent rebuilding, they add up a lot of time, especially if you have a large solution. Next, documentation is not great. Microsoft used to be a leader on documentation. So what happened? If you've done React, you must remember the React docs. We used to laugh at those. Remember that?
Well. How the turntables.
There aren't enough examples, and the examples that exist are just not thorough enough. Microsoft could really do a better job here. Maybe bring back the old docs team, or...
Well, who wants a martini?
Finally, the amount of UI-specific packages is still sorely lacking. Yeah, you can use Blazor, Fluent UI, Radzen, or Blazor Bootstrap, but if you are at all concerned with having your own look and feel, you'll want to use Tailwind. You can integrate Tailwind yourself and build out your own components, or there are commercial options you can use like Service Stack, which run with Tailwind. Bottom line though, compared to its opponents, it's still slim pickings in the UI department for Blazor. All right, authentication. Again, it's better than it used to be. And .NET 8 brought us the new authentication endpoints, but those are not OAuth compatible.
We do provide a proprietary token.
Overall, Microsoft has always struggled with authentication, and Blazor, it still ain't it.
That makes me a sad panda.
That said, it is still, of course, possible to authenticate Blazor, but it's not as intuitive as the competition. Vercel's Next.js has had authentication figured out for years. If I need authentication in my application, and there's a pretty high chance that I do, it's easier to just use something else, not Blazor, that has its authentication story figured out, or at least is more coherent than Blazor's. Come on, Microsoft, fix authentication, please. Right, so JavaScript interop actually works pretty well in Blazor. The problem is that I need it at all. If I need to use a JavaScript library which doesn't have a Blazor wrapper around it, and it's not on NuGet already, and a package is actively maintained, if these do not exist, I need to write it myself. That is extra effort that I'm putting towards something that is not my product that I'm building for my customers. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it's kind of annoying. Also, if you're using modern JavaScript, and for example, you're using classes, importing into your Blazor components is a bit weird. You have to import the file, get a reference to a function which initializes the class, then call that to instantiate the class, and only then can you finally call the functions on the class. Again, minor, but kind of annoying. State management. Microsoft does not have a good state management story for Blazor. They just don't. It does not exist. On the client, they tell you to use a singleton. And on the server, you have the database. There's nothing like Nuxt's Pinia, which not only takes care of state on both the server and the client when using SSR, but also with an extension gives your server fetches superpowers. Now, Blazor does have the Fluxor library, which does work, but again, it's slim pickings when it comes to state management. The Blazor team is way too small, and the number of contributors is nowhere near the competition. In a recent interview, Dan Roth, the principal product manager of ASP.NET Core, said that the Blazor team has 6 engineers working on it. 6 engineers. Take a listen.
But the actual framework itself, I think, is 6 engineers. Yeah. Plus, then, of course, all the help and support that we get from our community.
He did say there are contributors as well, so it's not just 6 engineers. But one look at the numbers leads me to believe the level of contribution is nowhere near where it needs to be. There are 1,300 contributors to the ASP.NET Core repo. That's all of ASP.NET Core, not just Blazor. If we take, say, 20% of that, and I think I'm being generous here, and compare it to other contributor counts, let's see here. Hell, even Laravel has more contributors.
All I have are negative thoughts.
This looks like one of those self-reinforcing doom spirals. Community not big enough, so not enough engagement. Not enough engagement, so community not big enough. All right, this is kind of my favorite. JavaScript has come a long way since 2025. So anybody that tells you they hate it is kind of a tool. Now, C# is an amazing language. And TypeScript, a superset of JavaScript, is essentially C#, at least syntactically, on the surface. You have strong typing, generics, ternary statements, interfaces, template literals. Say that 4 times real fast. Optional chaining, destructuring, spread operators, namespaces, decorators, type inference, async await, and of course, classes, methods, private and public prefixes, and all the control flow syntax you're used to from C#. Ironically, TypeScript is actually Microsoft's invention too. Makes me think the whole using a single language on the front end and the back end, it's kind of moot. So if I can use a solid front end language that's native to the platform, that is the browser, unlike C#, why would I use Blazor?
I don't know.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, so let's do a recap. The developer experience is lacking. Authentication is slightly improved, but still a mess. JavaScript interrupt actually works well, but the fact you need it calls into question why you're using Blazor to begin with. State management is almost non-existent. The Blazor team is tiny, and the community is nowhere near as large as the other frameworks. Is it a doom spiral? I hope not. TypeScript is basically C# on the surface, and it's really not that scary, so stop hating on it. Now the question is, will I be using Blazor in 2025? Yes, but at work. Now don't get me wrong, I hope Blazor succeeds. I love C#, but will I be using it on my personal projects? I will not. What will I be using? I suggest you subscribe and stay tuned because that is the next video. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.